Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. In our last two videos we got our micarta made for our handle scales for our shifter. We got our shifter that we made and our shifter that we bought, both cut off, re-welded together and shaped up and ready to go. Lengthwise it's perfect, we're ready to put it in. So in this video today we're going to take our micarta and we're going to make our scales, and they shouldn't take too long to get set up and that. And then we're going to get that thing put back in there. I got to run up to Walmart here and get some black, some gloss black paint, because I'm going to paint the thing. I haven't decided yet for sure. I kind of like the look of it the way it is, but it's just high carbon steel. It will rust and look like crap. I thought about heating it and oiling it, you know, like you would a coat hook or a bottle opener, or you know, a hinge or something like that you would make, that you would blacksmith. And I've thought about clearing it, which would look pretty good. Just throw a little clear over it, you know, and keep it from rusting and that. But then I worry about that stuff peeling off later on. Of course, it wouldn't be, you know, horrible if it did later on to just pull it out again and kind of sand it up and do it again. The problem is where you have that pineapple twist, you're not going to be able to get in there and sand all that out. So we'll figure all that out. We got to take our micarta to the bandsaw, trim it up. I noticed when I took the press my weights off of it in that video, kind of the problem is with the polyester resin is it doesn't cure as fast as the fiberglass resin that we use for handle scales. A lot of times for scale liners we make black, and the amber color doesn't bother the black. So we can use the fiberglass resin to do the black that we use for micarta for all those scale liners and stuff you've seen on my knives. And you know, but the polyester doesn't set up quite as fast. So as long as I had the press and the weights on there and the boards and everything, it was taking a long time to cure. So we took that off once it got pretty much, you know, we knew it was pressed and it was fairly hard, and left that off of there. Well, I noticed when I went up there this morning and looked at it, we've got a little bit of a curve in our, just a slight little bit of a curve in our stuff. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to bring it to the bandsaw. We're going to trim all the edges off and get our nice piece of micarta. Then I'm going to put it in the sink in some just hot water from the sink. We don't need it to be scalding, but you know, that stuff will kind of soften up a little bit, and I think we're going to put it in the sink in some hot water, let it soak in there for a little bit and get good and warm, and then we'll put it back under the press for a little while and let it cool off and see if it'll stay nice and flat that way. I mean, it's not horrible the way it is because it's over the whole, you know, it's kind of rounded the short way, you know, so we have it about this wide and about that long. So it's rounded a little bit on that short side, which I don't think would be terrible, you know, if we're going to cut our scales out the other way. So it's probably really wouldn't hurt anything, but I'd just kind of like to see if I can get it flattened out nicely. So I think if we heat it up, press it again, let it cool off, I think that'll flatten it up. So let's go cut that up and stuff. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it when you guys join me in the shop, and let's get to it. So there's our little piece of micarta. You can see how this is kind of warped. You know, it kind of swales this way. So we're going to go and throw this in some hot water now. I need to cut a little bit more off of this end, I think. So there it is. Our micarta didn't really straighten out with the hot water thing like I thought it might. I mean, it did straighten out, but once it dried, it went right back into place. And I think that part of the reason for that is the material that I used was pretty stretchy, you know, more or less like nylon stuff the shirt was. And as I was painting this resin on here, I was kind of stretching it out, and you know, that elasticity you know, kind of made it want to pull a little bit or whatever as it was curing. It softened up really nicely. I took it out of the water and I could easily, you know, bend it straight and what have you, and I put it back under the press. But it is what it is. But over this short distance right here, that's not going to make any difference, and when we clamp it on there, it's going to be fine. So let's go ahead and take this. We'll lay our handle on here, and we'll trace out where we need to. We'll mark out where we need to cut this off, and let's get this cut, and we'll get it put on the handle and pinned and glued and clamped and everything. And it doesn't take that epoxy very long. Within an hour or so, we'll be able to pull the clamps off and go ahead and shape our shifter handle. So let's go do that. Got our two pieces of micarta cut out here for our shifter handle scales, and the way they're going to sit here is we've cut them, and you line them up here at the end of the top of the shifter. You notice that they come clear up here. Well, we're going to have to take these ends and round this off so that it fits the contour here of the shifter, so we have a nice flat deal. So we'll take these over to the grinder now, and we'll work on these ends here a little bit, because they've got to lay flat on there, but yet I want it to come all the way up so that we make a smooth transition from here to here. You see what I mean? So this end will have to be rounded to fit this. So we've got those shaped up so they'll fit up on there. Now we can go ahead and get our pinholes drilled and get these things glued on there. And then after a little bit we'll be only about an hour or so, I'd give it a good hour, we'll be able to come in and shape these up and we'll have handles. So there we go, guys. That's what it'll look like. Now we just got to stir up some epoxy, get out our acetone and clean these areas real well, of course. We'll get out some epoxy and we'll get these babies epoxied up and clamped on there. Alright guys, so we've got us a little acetone here and we're just going to clean our surfaces here a little bit. Now I always like to keep my stuff kind of lined up where it's going to be, because that way you're not fumbling around trying to remember which scale goes on which side, because this epoxy will dry pretty fast. So we want to keep our stuff laid out where it's actually going to go so we don't have a problem. Because once you get that spread on there, you don't have a whole lot of time to dink around trying to remember where stuff goes. And this isn't a huge deal. You don't have to fart around with it forever. Just take a little wipe just to get any oil from your fingers or whatever, you know, or from your tools that you've used, just to get that off of there. You just want a nice clean surface for your epoxy to have a nice surface to stick to. So there, everything is clean just like that. You don't think it's very bad, but you can see on there quite a bit of garbage on that stuff. So there's that. We've got that ready to go. Been about 4.5 hours since we glued these, so we could have done this after an hour probably and we'd be fine, but friends stopped by, so we got sidetracked a little for a while, but there we go. We're going to go ahead and cut these pins off now on the bandsaw, and we'll we'll take this to the grinder and we'll start getting it shaped up and see what it's going to actually look like on there. Guys, after quite a bit of work on the belt grinder and a little bit of hand sanding, we've still got a ways to go to get it as smooth as I'd like it, but there's our shift lever handle scales on and looking good. This is such an odd shape, so we just tried to blend this in, these edges in with the metal, with the steel, you know, as well as possible, just to make it kind of look uniform, and I think we kind of accomplished that. Like I say, we need a little more finish work yet. We've been hand sanding this with some 240 grit. That's all I can find right now. I've got some sandpaper for steel, for metal, that goes up to 1200 grit, but when you use it on something like this micarta, it's gray sandpaper, and it'll leave that gray in there, and it'll make it look terrible. So we can't use it. It has to be a wood, you know, type sandpaper for wood. So, but we pretty much got it shaped up nicely. It feels really good in my hand. I mean, that thing is just, you know, it's the finger grooves came out nicely. You wrap your hand right in that, and I mean, that's real nice. It feels real nice. So not going to have a whole lot of more, well, we're not going to have any more removal of any meat on it anywhere. We've got our contour where we want it. And all we're doing now is just trying to give it that nice finished polish. We've got a ways to go, like I said, but it's getting there. It's almost ready. And then I think I've decided I'm just going to clear coat it and leave it like it is with a clear coat so it can't rust. So there we go. The shifter for the Sandrail is all done. I think it came out pretty good. I'm very happy with it. It pretty much met my expectations. The handle, the twist, came out pretty decent. And it looks pretty good in the car too, so we'll show you that here in a minute. So we're gonna call it for today. Like I say, we just have to get a little more finished work done on it. I want it smooth and shiny before I paint it. Then we'll throw a little clear over it, and then we're ready to put it back in the car in the next video. So I appreciate y'all being here. Hope you enjoy watching these videos. If you do, hit that subscribe button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. I'd sure appreciate it. And to all my subscribers, love you guys. Without you, there'd be no need to do this. So, I mean, I'm not making any money. I'm doing it just for fun anyway. But hey, if nobody watched them, why put them up, right? So thank you to all you guys who subscribe and share my videos and what have you. So really appreciate it. I think the shifter's going to work great. The old Sandrail here is going to be much better than that little stubby thing that was in there. We still have a little leverage, man. We'll be able to shift gears because this is rods and a little bowl and a little cup and a ball, and you know, it's you need a little more leverage than what we had. So I think this is going to work out great. Next video, we'll get this put in. I probably won't video when I clear coat it. I'll probably just do it. That way it's done. And the next video, we don't have to wait on that, you know, clear coat. I can do that one evening this week, and then Saturday we'll get that put in and get it all done, and hopefully get everything put back together and take it for a little test drive and see if we need to make any adjustments or whatever, and get this thing back on its feet so we can go back to the dunes again. We still have to take the front shocks back off, run them down to this place we found that will charge them with nitrogen. We have to have those brought up to 300 pounds. So then we've got a gas leak on the motor. I found out it's some kind of a pressure release valve or something that's on the fuel rail on that driver's side of the motor. Not sure what it is. May just need an O-ring, but we've got a little bit of fuel leaking out of that, so we'll figure out what that is and get one of those, and then we're ready to go back to the dunes and give this thing a once over again. Thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate y'all. Be careful when you're working in your shop. Wear your mask when you're grinding and stuff, and some safety goggles. Or, you know, if you're grinding steel and that, save yourself from the agony of getting some crap stuck in your eye or, you know, something like that. Take care of yourselves. Tune in next time when we put this shifter in the car. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.